But just to get this started, what Lightning Talk is I got this microphone. Does somebody want this microphone? You can have 5 minutes in the front of the room, in front of that camera, to say whatever you want about Wikipedia and free culture. So if you're scheduled to do a lightning talk and you'd like to come up right now, you can have the microphone. I'll time you for 5 minutes. Oh, you, sir. Please introduce yourself.
I'm David Goodman, DGG, and I'm going to make a couple of radical proposals about what we should do about paid editing. The kind of paid editing I'm concerned about primarily at this point is commercial paid editing, where there are people who write a great many articles about a great many things that have to be deleted. And it's mainly about companies, but it's also about people. There are a lot of individual people There are a lot of individual people doing it. There are several rings doing it. We have difficulty catching them, and it is an immense amount of work dealing with the articles, which are almost always awful. The current method relies really upon them making a mistake so they get caught and tracking down from there, and we know there are many such groups that we have not yet tracked down. There's two things have been proposed and rejected. One is that we ban paid editing entirely. I would support this, except for the problem that it would just go completely underground and we would have to be hopeless in trying to deal with it. The other one is that we deal with it by restricting creation of articles to experienced editors. And a proposal to that effect was passed by the community about 2 years ago and refused by the foundation as being a rejection of anybody who can edit. It may be proposed again, but what I'm proposing is two related things. The first one is sort of from the article side, that for new corporations, especially new internet corporations, that information about funding and about motivation of the founders is not sufficient for an article, regardless of how many references there are about it. The only reason I'm picking about corporations is not that this is all the problem, but that this is an easily identifiable set of the problem that doesn't deal with things like biography of living people. I'm going to propose it. It's a sort of an override to the GNG. I don't know what will happen to this. The other one is from the other side, and I am going to propose it, but I'm trying to get I'm speaking today to try to get some feel about what the support for it would be, actually, is that we do not permit anonymous editing of articles about small and medium-sized businesses and require anyone editing to actually make a declaration of who they are and what their commercial affiliations are, whether they are paid. And this is, again, this is a limited rejection of anybody can edit, but it's narrow enough that there's a possibility that it might be approved. And I'm just going to ask very simply just one thing. Are there people who would support it? I'm talking about a show of hands. Are there people who would totally reject it? Okay. It's worth it. The question is whether we should restrict editing on articles about companies to people who are willing to say who they are and who employs them and whether they are paid, as an exception to the general policy.
Does that include nonprofit organizations?
Not yet, not yet. I think that would probably be my proposal in the following year. But new companies, at least, yes. My tentative date for this would be the start of the internet era in 1995, just to pick a date. Okay, so anyone interested, get in touch with me.
we go. Hi, I'm Tom Lowenhaupt, and I was inspired, I've been a big supporter of the earlier panel on fake news and the issues in terms of how difficult it's become to trust, believe, or live with everything we see on the internet. The project that I've been involved with for a number of years is just getting started, and it's localizing the internet and thinking about the internet as something they can kind of rebuild from the neighborhood on up. So I'm working on a project that's a pilot probably of 385 neighborhood names that are going to be developed in New York City. I live in Jackson Heights, so there is going to be a Jackson Heights.nyc. There's going to be a Corona.nyc, Greenwich Village.nyc, whatever your neighborhood is. Those neighborhood names have been set aside for nonprofit local organizations to develop. So in our instance for Jackson Heights.nyc, what we're doing, and one of the reasons I'm here today, is that we're going to have a wiki being a kind of a base for all of the resources in the community. The buildings, the people, a lot of these are questionable. Difficulty in getting good information there, and that's the reason I'm here to learn from Wikipedia, the experience that has been gained over 16 years, and to build upon that, a more a neighborhood that, or a society more than that, through communications and such, to make it a society that is much more predictable and trustable. And today I was talking about my last minute, I will tell you that in our session, which you missed on, most of you missed, but there were a good number of people there on the subject of, on the subject of the 5 pillars, trying to adapt the 5 pillars to a neighborhood. How do Wikipedia's 5 pillars, how do we have to change them in order to make a neighborhood a workable place?
So I'll just follow up on Tom that I went and saw him present to the New Visions Democratic Club in Jackson Heights on Thursday night, and he talked to them about the idea of a wiki, which obviously they didn't really have much idea about. And I explained to them, why a wiki might be good. I said, well, you've got your local history and your local famous people and your history of Jackson Heights here. And if you tried to put that on Wikipedia, some deletionist is going to come along and say, this is not notable. The whole world does not want to know about Jackson Heights. So there's a lot of room to put stuff that wouldn't go on Wikipedia on a local wiki. And so the idea of local neighborhood wikis is something that I think we should support.
Cables everywhere.
Is this working?
Yeah, it should be working. Okay, so since apparently now it's 4 minutes, we're going to make this quick. Hi, everyone. I'm Side Pocket, and this is Delcini.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, we normally hang out at various tech and what most people call hacker scenes. I wanted to kind of bring up an interesting group that has formed that I think you guys would be interested in. Delcini is going to explain quickly what it is, and then I'm going to talk about why this is relevant to Wikipedia and the free culture movement.
Okay, great. So starting last summer, there was a conference called HOPE, and there was discussed the issue around privacy in New York City with these new Link and YZ kiosks popping up everywhere. And one of the big questions was, did anybody ask the right questions of our politicians who are basically contracting with private contractors to put up these systems? Mm-hmm. What impact does it have on our lives? So we wanted to explore that a little bit and possibly create a citizen-driven organ within the city that can ask the right questions and help our politicians be more informed to make good decisions about technology and how we're being affected by it.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty important because there's kind of a misnomer of, you can't be a privacy advocacy while being for open source software and free culture. But in reality, I feel like that more drives the privacy aspect, because the biggest argument is that they're supposed to be the enemy of free culture is this participatory culture. And we've literally evolved to a point where there's basically the whole point of participatory culture is there has to be at least participation. There is none. We have forms for it that are very antiquated government-wise, and that I just blanked out for a second. Okay, that the thing is, so imagine like what we currently have with all the cameras and stuff is a private Wikipedia data of everyone that only 25 people can access, and no one has any participation of whether they're on there or not, or what's being done with it. There is no dialogue. The whole point of this group is that we do want to discuss the dialogue about it, kind of similar to the post-truth panel. And because we have limited time, if you are more interested in this and what you can add to it, such as how there's no information on the NYC Ring of Steel, which is the camera system, and yet we have meat space of the mappings of all the cameras, for instance. We are going to have a breakout session at the boardroom. You're more than welcome to tell us what you think about the issues and how do we think we can contribute to uploading that data so that at least there's a two-way dialogue. And if people are going to record us, we can at least record it too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right after lightning
right after
talks
this.
in the boardrooms.
Thank
Well, not
you.
after this, but the talks. Here we go.
Hi, I'm John, username Frenazulo on the various wikis. And one of the things I've been involved with is adding descriptions to media files in Commons in various languages. And one of the things that I've noticed during the course of that work is that a lot of the files that people upload don't have much at all in the way of descriptions. And so sometimes there has to be detective work done before anything can even start to say what's in the picture. And so this is about what makes a good description, so that if you're thinking about contributing media to Commons, you remember to put something in that blank on the upload page, something that says who or what is in the picture, when and where the picture was taken. Remember to include the name of the country, because it's not always possible to tell that. And it doesn't have to be a paragraph. We don't need a whole Wikipedia article as a description, but very, very important to have basic information so that someone who is looking at the picture who doesn't know anything about the subject, so that they would know what terms to search on or what sort of what they can use to find more information if they want to go further later on. And that's pretty much all I have to say, so thank you.
Yeah, I do. Okay. Okay. First, an announcement. I'm a software engineer with the Wikimedia Foundation collaboration team. Yuri over there is also a software engineer on a different team. He's working on maps, graphs, visualizations, and international templates. So if you're interested in any of those, especially if you're a software developer, either come talk to him or come to the later session here at 4:30 p.m. Okay, now I'm going to present on what my team, the collaboration team, is working on. To start out with, we're working on a new user interface and new features for the Wikipedia recent changes page. You can see this live right now on English Wikipedia on the beta cluster. This is a test wiki, not production, but there's a very limited rollout. It's not available to regular users yet. But let me show you a couple features. Basically, there's a new filtering interface to replace the old hide show where you have to click like five hide show links to get what you're trying to do. Instead, it's checkbox oriented. This will eventually have all of the filters. Right now there's a couple as a proof of concept, but right now you can click newcomers or edits by others or my own edits, and it will filter by them. Currently it's filtering to only show new editors. Now I'll go to a couple other features. Okay, first, this is Echo. A lot of people here probably use this. I just wanted to go over it briefly. This is another collaboration team feature. It's basically Wikipedia notifications of things related to your work. For example, if someone links to your page, you get a notification. So this is an article about a general that I created. So anytime that general does something, I get a notification when someone creates an article linking to that. And then you also get notifications when someone thanks you for an edit or posting your talk page and similar things. And speaking of talk pages, this is Flow, a new discussion system for Wikipedia. Right now I'm showing it on MediaWiki.org, which is a wiki about the software. It has a limited rollout in production. It's not currently available on English Wikipedia, but you can use it on MediaWiki.org, Catalan Wikipedia, a few other Wikipedias with a very limited rollout. But basically, it's an entirely separate discussion system. It has a much better storage model and user interface. It also has visual editor integration, so it is deployed on a few wikis. We would like to get it on English Wikipedia at some point, but that might be a while. But please stay in touch and stay interested and let people know you're interested. Basically, if you come to events like the Wikipedia Monthly Metrics, events like this, and just keep letting us know you're interested. Sometimes we run surveys as well, and we also have it available as a beta feature. So you can access it in your user preferences and enable it on your user talk page. I'm not sure if that's available on English Wikipedia, but it's available on a couple other Wikipedias. And those are the features I want to tell you about.
Hi everyone. My username is user M with a hook. I'm largely here as a commons photographer, and I helped sort of put together this photo exhibit, and just wanted to draw your attention to it. Take a look. Thank you. I primarily used photos from, say, New York City photographers, especially the ones who are part of this organization that helped make this happen, Wikimedia New York City. Say, including people like Daniel Case, Jim Henderson, Brill Lyle, and Evan Amos. And as well through a few organizations, say we have outreach with several like museums, galleries, libraries, and museums. And those institutions, say, give us public domain photos to use on Wikipedia. Like, say, that photo on the bottom right at the end, that is from the Guggenheim, and actually Richard uploaded it, and so I could put it here. And we also collaborated with other people from other areas who have been influenced by Wikimedia in New York City. Say, we're doing a program to issue press passes to people, so people can take photos like of that basketball game because of the press pass. Thank you, Tony. And one other little thing that I sort of came up with is over there, there's a little box. So I have a little photo contest for anyone who's interested. There are monetary prizes. If you write about some of these photos in like a story or whatever, you can win some prizes. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. So I don't know, try it out. That's all I have to say. And yeah. So the art panel is starting on time at 4 p.m. Thank you.